Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where last episode Britain made several landings simultaneously. One here, and one here. We have forces in position or moving into position to deal with most of those, but by no means is this going to be all of them. So we definitely have forces on the way in. The question is, do we have enough? And we will find out. If we have to reposition forces, we can, but I would really prefer not to. So we're still pushing through Ming, and that is absolutely wonderful. Now, down over here, these guys, I'd like them to just get in here. Wipe these out. Get rid of that incursion. That would be fantastic. Oh, right, that's Basra over there. That's not actually an invasion. So that is fine, and we will see what this ends up feeling like. For the time being, just in case, I'm going to build as a fairly low priority. I'm going to build over here anything that I meant to have this at a low priority. Anything over here that is not pre-built. Okay, so that seems fine for now. And are you guys attacking here? You're not. That's understood. So for now, it's going to be very difficult for them to attack out over this way, and we're going to have a bit of a hard time getting rid of this. I'm hoping to get rid of this sooner rather than later, but our forces are on their way over. We actually need to merge these together at this moment. So this unit here, which includes all of this, unfortunately, we need to deselect that. We need to assign all of them to be here, and then I'm going to adjust this front line to be like that. So that's 15 divisions that's going to be up over here, and their offensive line is going to be altered. So their offensive line is going to be to just push in about like... Sure, that's good enough. So something like that. Okay, now I'm assuming we've already got good defenses here. Yes. So I'm not too concerned about pushing here just yet. I want to get this pushed out first. That's the dream. But, of course, we've still got a lot of forces out over this direction tied down by Ming. And we definitely want to get those handled. Now, we've got these guys, but they are heading over to Africa at this time. They are responding to a potential threat of an invasion here. It's not necessarily going to happen, but a potential threat. Okay. So we're working on getting into position here. It will eventually happen. It's taking so long to move through this area. Okay, that's taking a really long time. So that's noted. That's definitely not great. We'll start pushing these guys back, hopefully fairly soon. I want to check in over here. These started responding a lot earlier. So the idea is that I want these units here to actually start aggressively attacking. I want to push this back as quickly as we can, in theory. Okay, so the forces over here are spicy. No doubt about that. We're going to go back to a balanced manner for now. So that's noted. And I'm thinking about stepping up our recruitment. Yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring this up to a total of 24 divisions in progress at once here. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. 24 divisions in progress at once. I want more recruitment. We clearly need to enlarge our army a little bit. That got very laggy. Okay, that was exciting. So we're going to continue to work out over here, and hopefully we can get this pushed back, but I want to have at least 2 extra armies, including 1 tank army. In the meantime, of course, we're working on pushing through the Ming over here. So that is going to be a little bit of an issue as we start to run into supply problems out this way, right? And we're working on it, but it is a bit on the slow side. We do have supply hubs on the way in, but that will take time. So that's understood. The main concern right now remains that we need to get this handled. Now, this out over here, I don't think that they can effectively push us at this moment in time, and we'll just slowly probe them a little bit here and there and whittle them down slightly while we wait for reinforcements over this way. So that's absolutely fine. Now, the next question becomes, how are we actually doing up over here? Well, we're still not fully in position up over here. But we are pushing these back slightly in some of these areas. Some of these areas. So that's noted. And we're being attacked down over here. I'm not too concerned about this right now. I don't see a universe in which they're capable of pushing through here. So that's understood. And I want to check supplies out over here. It's actually pretty decent. Okay. So that seems relatively fine for now. This over here, again, I'm a little concerned about this. And I'm a little concerned about this as well. I feel like we need more forces up over this direction, which is why we stepped up recruitment. Now, we're slowly pushing over this way, and for now, that's fine. We're still pushing into Ming, keep in mind, during all of this. So that's noted. I want to check in on what the US has for manpower. 27 million. Okay, that's a lot of manpower. And we've taken out about 1 million of that. So that's noted. Okay. For now, I'm still interested in continuing to push towards Beijing. And that's where our main thrust is continuing to go over here. And we're continuing to make reasonable progress at that, actually. This supply hub just fell to us, which is a big deal. And we'll get that motorized immediately. This supply hub down here is a thing as well. And we'll get that motorized on up. Beautiful. So those supply hubs are going to be very useful for us as we continue to push in. However, we do have a bit of a manpower issue, and that is absolutely understood. Now, it looks like we are pushing this back. And we're definitely pushing this back. Okay, so we're making progress over here then. That's very good. Are we making progress here? Not significant progress at this time, but we're definitely making progress up on this side. Okay, so we'll continue to work on these pushes for the moment, and I'm actually going to move this unit up over to here, and I'm going to move this unit up over here as well. I want to get rid of this order, and then these guys, they're going to be told to offensive line like this. Now, it's going to be difficult for us to push through here, right? And that's absolutely understood. They appear to be bringing more forces into this naval base, and that is definitely understood. But if we can get this dealt with, that alone is huge. So that's great. And in the meantime, of course, keep in mind that we have all of these guys that are under recruitment at this time. Now, I don't plan on keeping it like this for too much longer, and that's a big part of the reason why our manpower has dropped suddenly, remarkably, and that's absolutely fine. I'm not too concerned about that right now. So our main goal here really should be to push to Beijing, I feel like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this offensive line right now. I'm going to grab this tank force, and their goal is going to be to offensive line, as I said, to Beijing. Not in that direction. This direction. Like that. Okay. So we're going to start pushing to Beijing. If Beijing falls, Ming might go with. And that's going to be a huge mess, but we'll see about reconstituting that later on. So that seems fine for now. We've got these guys here, and I want to attack up over here for sure. Wipe these guys out if you can. And similarly, over here, wipe these guys out if you can. I don't think you can right now, though. They're bringing more forces in over here by sea, and that's absolutely noted. We need to get them pushed out of here, obviously. So that's all understood for the time being. There's apparently, I think these are these same naval invasions out over here, is my guess. Huh. They just left this naval base. That's interesting. There's a second one over here. So there's a naval base or a naval invasion happening out over here. And these guys have been freed up. So I'm going to get them started moving down this direction. Again, we're not surprised about this. This is what we expected out of a Britain war. We just didn't expect a Britain war to be quite yet. So that's absolutely understood, and we'll just continue to work on this. These guys look like they're stack wiping. That's perfect. So we're going to come in here, take this, and then these guys down here, they still need to be worked on. Our progress up here is slow, for sure, but we're working on it. And down this direction, we've got these forces that are on the way, but they're a ways away. These guys have made a lot of progress already, and we need to get down here and offensive line straight back to the sea. But that is going to be a bit of a problem. That was not the full... Get everyone over here. There we go. So eventually we'll get on the railroads and we'll get over there. But we need these rapid response forces scattered around, and that's just going to take time, right? So that's understood. We will keep attacking out over this way. Mostly we're working on buying some time at this moment, right? So we're not too concerned about these invasions in the medium term, but in the short term it is very concerning. I want to take a look up over here to see how we're doing on our push towards Beijing, and it's going okay, actually. We're pushing in pretty decently over here. So that looks good. We'll motorize this hub, and we'll motorize this hub. I want to make sure that we have good supplies going through these areas. So I'm going to bump up that for sure. And we don't have a connection here, so let's build one. Okay, so we'll continue to work on that. That seems fine. And out this direction, we're hoping that these guys are going to be able to dislodge this force. That's the dream. Down over here, these guys are starting to arrive anyway. But there's a lot of them still way back over here. So that's understood, and we're going to start pushing in over this direction and pushing back on these guys. So that looks fine for the moment. We'll just continue to let that push. So over this direction, I just wanted to double check that. It's fine. Over this direction, we're going to continue to push towards Beijing. And that seems reasonably fine. Out here, I really want these guys to dislodge this unit, but our organization is not going up very well over here, I'll be honest. So out over this direction, we're working on this. We could definitely use reinforcement. There's no doubt about that. So we're going to definitely work on that. I'm thinking the tanks are going to come here, and the infantry are going to come here for now. Once they finish training, that is. So that's the general idea for right now, and we're just going to continue to work on that for now. So we need to continue to head towards Beijing, and we'll get there eventually. We're definitely still making progress out over here. So I want to check in on our tank quantity. How are we doing on that? I would imagine we're burning through a lot of tanks, right? We need 279. We need 14. How much do we have in stock, though? How much do we have in stock? Okay, we've got 52,000 in stock. So that's not that big of a concern then at this moment. So that seems fine. And up over this direction, I'm going to, low priority, build this in just so that they don't get pushed out over here. And this should be fine. I'm not too concerned about that. So that's all low priority stuff. We'll let that continue for the time being. Okay, so for right now, this is mostly a holding pattern. And I want to check, how are we doing in India? It's mediocre at best. Our forces are still a very long ways away. A lot of these decided to walk instead of taking the railway, and I don't know why, but okay, sure. So we're working on holding that. In the meantime, the push towards Beijing continues. Once Ming is out of this, that is actually going to create a huge mess, and we'll see what that ends up looking like. It's going to be insane how big of a mess that is. So we can see that these trainings, they're continuing. They're not as far along as we would like. That's for sure. But these fights out over here, they do provide us some useful ability to attack directly non-Ming enemies. So the US has a lot of manpower, and that's understood. We're not really going to get to that anytime soon. But what I am going to do is I'm going to build up our land forts throughout here for now, just to make it more difficult for them to push these units out. And that's a low priority. We'll get to that eventually. So for now, our primary focus remains on taking Beijing. What was that noise? Oh, there was an enemy raid. Lisbon got hit by a nuclear strike. Well, that's rude of them. I didn't drop any nukes on them. Do they want to start this fight? Because, I mean, we can build nuclear reactors and get insane amounts of nukes. If they want to go that way, we can go that way. We'll keep an eye on it and see if they continue to nuke us. If they do, we'll nuke them back. To that end, I'm going to immediately begin building some nuclear research facilities inland where it's very difficult for them to get to us. So we're going to put some of these up over here, and we're just going to build a bunch of these. This is low priority, and we'll start stockpiling nukes. Again, this is locations where it's kind of difficult for them to reach. So we'll just do something along the lines of this. If that's the way they want to play, we can play that way. Okay, so that'll be a bunch of nuclear facilities that'll get done soon enough. Because each one of these nuclear Wait, we want nuclear reactors or nuclear research facilities? We want nuclear reactors, don't we? Yes, that's what we wanted. Hang on. Let's cancel all of these that we just queued up. Okay, this is going from the bottom up, so we're going to have to come up here. Gotcha. Okay, let's just spam click these. This is not the thing that I wanted. I wanted the... I wanted the nuclear reactors. So we're not going to build the nuclear power plants. We're going to build these guys. Perfect. Okay, so we can build some of them up over here, and that's exactly what we're going to do. These take up a building slot, but we're going to start building some of these. We have a lot of factories at this moment, and that's fine. But we are absolutely interested in getting some of these nuclear reactors going. We do have some. We do make some nuclear weapons. We have 95 in stockpile right now. But if this is the way they want to play, we can play this way. Okay, there's a bunch of them queued up. That seems fine for now. So we'll continue to push towards Beijing. We are getting ever closer. I want to motorize this hub. 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 And this one. This one's a ways away from anything useful, but let's go ahead and motorize it too. And there's this one down over here. So we captured a lot of supplies very recently. I do want to make sure that we have decent connections to these, and overall we do. We can definitely upgrade that. Okay, something along the lines of this. Beautiful. So our supplies are going to get a lot better out over here, and we will continue to push towards Beijing. So the idea here is we're going to cut this in half, and this up over here will become a focus for these guys, with this down here pushing southward, becoming a focus for this front. That's the overall concept, anyway. So we've got forces coming in here to defend. But I am noticing that they're really trying to push us out over this direction. And I'm going to start actually working on that. Okay, we're fighting over this area. They really want to cut this peninsula. And I mean, that makes sense. I would want to cut that peninsula too, if I were them. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to immediately deploy all of this. So we're going to immediately deploy these. They're only half trained, but that's fine. They'll get the rest of their training at the battlefront. We need them. So we're going to get all of these deployed, and then I'm going to cancel all but 4 of these. I'm still doubling our recruitment. So we're not going to go for these guys. And then I'm going to deploy these. Our tanks look like they were already deployed, so that looks good for now. Let's get all of these early deployed. Something along the lines of this. There we go. And we'll get all of this canceled. Down to, again, 4 of these. There we go. So that'll do for now, and we need to grab these guys. So we've got 31 tank divisions here. That's more than I expected. Okay, we don't quite need this many. Let's move... Let's see, we need to move 7, I think, into here. Yes, that's about right. I'm going to give this a commander. That'll be this guy. And they are, for now, going to come down over here. Their goal is to just drive to the sea. Like this. Get rid of these guys. Then we've got 24 divisions of infantry, and they're going to get a commander. And these guys, they're going to head out over here for right now, with their goal being to offensive line, once again, just down to the sea. So they can go ahead and get started on that. Now, these guys, they're going to have to wait a little bit. That's understood for now. We'll come back to them once we get some of these others cleaned up. So that seems fine for the moment. I'm definitely upset about them nuking Lisbon. That's very, very upsetting, but it doesn't seem to have affected us very much, to be honest. So it's fine. And we'll just continue to hold in these positions for right now. And the tanks will be arriving down over here theoretically pretty soon, right? So a lot of these tanks are going to be coming via rail in theory. And we're currently losing this push. I really don't want them to take this position, but unfortunately they did. So that's understood. How are we doing on our push towards Beijing? Well, we're working on it. We're working on it. It's not as good as we would like. I'm going to alter this order at this point because I feel like the order is not quite what we want it to be. I still want it to be a push to Beijing from this... No, from this side. This side. It really doesn't want to do that. Okay, let's try it from the other angle. If we offensive line it like this... Hang on. There. About like that. Go ahead and execute that. Okay, so we are making some gains out over here. I was hoping that we'd be making more once we got these supplies a bit more under control, but apparently that's not going to be a thing. And this hub here is actually really interestingly placed. We're going to need to connect this up over here, about like that. Okay, so this push is very interesting, no doubt about that, and I'm going to grab this tank unit that we just created up here, and they're currently going to be entirely up on this side, right? So I'm going to remove this order. These are the infantry. Yeah, these tanks are entirely up over here now. So their goal is to still offensive line like this, but they need to get over here. This invasion is going badly, and eventually these tanks will get here. Eventually. So that seems okay for now. We've got reinforcements on the way here. We're not reinforcing here right now, but we'll get there. So these fronts being open is actually fine by us. My main concern here is these guys are not regenerating. They're out of supply. Why? Why are you out of supply? You should not be out of supply. You have a direct land connection to our capital. It's a lengthy one, but it's a direct land connection to our capital. That's very silly. I don't know why they're out of supply, but whatever, it's fine. So out over this direction, the real question is, are we going to make it to Beijing anytime soon? That is a significant question indeed. Our tanks are beginning to arrive down over here, and I want to let them continue to arrive. We've still got a number of them that are a long ways away. Okay, we've got a naval invasion in Bengal happening right now. That's understood. That's going to be right down over here. And Britain's going to keep trying this crap, for the record. We absolutely know that that's going to be a thing. So we're going to push through over here, and I'm letting them invade over here for the moment. We're going to pull some of these units out over here, so I'm going to frontline these guys out over here for the moment. They're going to offensive line like this, and I'm going to grab half of these units as well, and half of these units as well. Okay, so we're going to go deal with that, in theory, and our tanks are pushing this back now. We shouldn't have any major problem with this. Get in here. Get in here. Cool. Now that we've got tanks present here, we should be able to come down this coast and cut them off from supplies. That's the idea at this moment. So that looks okay, and this down over here, they have expanded quite a lot, which we expect. We'll have forces over here eventually, and this is in collapse now, and that's absolutely great. We need to continue to collapse this. The real question is this going to be a fundamental problem? And, I mean, they have a lot of forces, right? We know that they have a lot of little armies. And our reinforcements have arrived over here for now. That's fine. Out over this direction, we are making some gains over here. For the moment, I'm not concerned about this. We just need to wipe these guys out, and then our tanks can be redeployed to drive these guys out. And that's going to be the goal. This is going to be a rapid response tank force, but it's got some work to do. No doubt about that. So these guys, they're going to get stack wiped. That's fantastic. So I want these tanks desperately to attack over here. And I want these infantry to make their way up over here. Okay, so that's looking fine. This is much less fine, but we will get to that soon. We've just about got this invasion collapsed. Once this is done, then we can move on. So things are looking okay here. We've got a level 1 only naval base here, and we definitely want to attack down over here. Get in there. Okay. Another nuke out over here, huh? Well, that's rude of them. They've also invaded down here yet again, so they're going to keep doing this, for the record. And we just need to have forces that are ready to respond to these. And that's the overall goal at this moment. I want these guys to get in right here, right now. I want you guys to assist. So we're going to push them out of here, and that's understood. And this is, of course, going to be a significant problem over here. So I'm going to need one of these armies to move away. Come on, let me select it. There we go. Move away from here, and you are going to position here, like this. Offensive lining, like so. Get in there fast. So there we go. That's fine for now. And then this naval invasion almost dealt with, but it's not quite there yet. And they've got another one going in Jutland, which is out over here. That's understood. They're going to keep doing this. They're going to keep doing this. That's why we need to get Ming out of this war, and we need to do it fast. We're working on it. We're not really pushing through these mountains at this moment, and that's understood. I'm going to alter this attack order up over here. And I'm going to have this now be an offensive line, if I can select the correct thing. An offensive line that comes in... No! Now I want this, not this. Okay, there's definitely tank armies up here, right? So we're going to take... Okay, it's actually this army group? Noted. So that's going to be an offensive line that is going to be about like that. Okay, so we'll get started on attacking in the north and pressing in there. Oh, look at this. I didn't even see this. So we've got these guys out over here already. They're not entirely here. I want to select the whole army. And we're going to tell half of them to come here and the other half to come here and come on over. And they're going to offensive line down over to here. And they can execute that. That's this army. I want these guys to just do something kind of like that. Okay. So again, these naval invasions are going to continue to happen. This was always what was going to be happening in this situation. We don't have enough troops to garrison our coastline, so we're just going to have to push them back like this every time. But now that we're starting to have some rapid response forces, it will improve. It will definitely improve. So let's get these guys pushed out of here as soon as we can. The autosave is continuing. Let me select people. There we go. Okay, so we're just going to get this position taken over. That's fantastic. These guys are all going to get stack wiped now. So we're going to have these come on in here, and this situation up here continues to be very bad. I'm going to pull the infantry that are currently here. They are now going to make their way up over to here, with the goal being to offensive line, again, about like that. Okay, So we'll get that taken care of, and the tanks will just push in here. And the tanks will stack wipe all of this. That's a lot of divisions that are about to go away. So that looks good, although it'd be nice if they were on this side and not trying to cross the river, right? Let's have these guys come around like this. So they'll get there eventually. There we go. And we'll stack wipe this. Our forces are on the way up over here, but it is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, oh boy. Okay, so this is continuing to be a problem out over here for sure. And Great Britain is going to continue to do this. So we need to actually, I think, recruit one more unit of tank. So we'll get that started. And then next episode, oh, that was 27. There we go. One more unit of tank, and next episode we'll get that sent up over here because Great Britain really wants to open up a new front up over here. And that's understandable. We are pushing in out over this way towards Beijing, and things are... It's a little static over here right now, but we are making slow progress. So we need to get these naval invasions under control. That is our primary goal at this moment. We can see that the British forces over here and American forces are stack wiping, and that's very good. So we do need to get these under control, no doubt about that, and that'll be absolutely fine. So I want you to just make your way up over here for now, and we'll get there. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge SQL, Spock, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.